motion, City Council?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I would like to amend it to also add, to approve hiring an assistant pool manager, and then also to discuss a bill that we have from the fire department.
I'll second it.
Wait a minute, for the assistant pool manager, and
Yes.
what about the fire department?
We have a bill from them that we need to discuss.
Okay.
We don't know what it is. We just
Okay.
got it.
Aye.
Approve the agenda as amended.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Aye.
Aye.
Approve the consent agenda.
Approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Aye.
Does that get into you further down the line? Or I see on here somewhere. I don't see it. Oh, basic in vendors invoicing city. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Old business.
No.
Public comments. Public comments.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Oh, that's a big deal tonight. Public comments. Who wants to bring anything up?
I want to speak, Jerry, but I'm flooding in it.
Jerry, I've got to go to a fight just down the street, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Anyway, I addressed the mayor and the city council. Did my homework and talked some legal advice. For our ordinances, it's the city government's responsibility through laws, resolutions, ordinances, whatever you want to call them, to protect the citizens of Grand Junction. The activity at the laundromat is not protecting myself or nor my family or any of the young children that are in and out of the laundromat. There's so much drug activity over there. As I said to Jack, I talked to an officer over there. You know, their hands are tied. They arrest them, they get a hand slap, they send it back, they continue. Day and night. I leave at 3 a.m. to go to work. I have to take a flashlight to make sure there's nobody back there hiding so I can get my day. That's great. I can't let my dogs out after dark. I don't know if they're gonna throw crap over the fence. I called them all, 10, 11, 12. They're out there with flashlights going down the laundromat. Raymond called the other day about somebody stealing stuff out of them. We have security cameras up. I asked to be on the agenda and was told this council's not taking people on the agenda. Is that right?
You were told not to be on the agenda.
Didn't I ask you that? And you told me they weren't taking anyone right now? When I came in?
That was, we was in a transition period. We didn't know whether to have it forward, backwards, or whatever.
Okay,
The League of Cities has informed us that we are not an open forum state,
I know.
and we do not have to put private citizens on the agenda.
According
And if we do it for one, we have to do it for everybody.
That's right, and according to the federal League of Cities, you have to take this. If we request it, they have to.
But we have talked to the
Okay.
Iowa State League of
I will get a
Cities.
letter from the federal League of Cities for you to say that it is our right to speak to you, because we're not supposed to speak to you.
You can speak to us, you're speaking to us now.
Yeah, in a 3-minute limit. But I have repeatedly, for 3 years, asked the city to do something about this, and nothing's being done, nothing. So it's time for the city to do something. As I told an officer, you know when you guys are gonna do something? One morning, one afternoon, one evening, when a cop's called over there for somebody shot or dead. That's when our city will get. And anyone who's near my family, nobody else. But you're in your hands.
I'll get with you after a while. We'll try to get some kind of plan of attack.
Right, you'll have to get a hold of me in the afternoons, because I'm working at 8,
Okay,
so just, you got yourself on for it.
okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, the pool. We had, a serious complaint, as you know, last year that was brought for, sexual harassment and for racism. And it was given to, everybody got a copy of it that was here. And we have 2 young women that are scared, that, were scared in that situation. One came back this year, and she has to live here. And we brought the pool manager in to speak to, and apparently she had gotten somehow the complaint, which she shouldn't have. And, she's hired back. And that girl was guaranteed by the head of the council at the time, myself because I spoke with Andy and Lori at the time, and the woman should not have been hired back. And that was the agreement that we had made, and we spoke with, and Chad, you got something, we made sure everybody, John Law got a copy of it.
Is this agreement with the pool committee? Or
And it was also, we
But
spoke with you about it.
did everybody at the council know about it?
Yes, they did, everybody.
I didn't.
We gave you a copy of it, of the sexual harassment. John Law got a copy as well. Whether, and I made sure to ask if it wasn't something in high school, I'm trying to hurry more. If it wasn't something that was, maybe I'm just gonna use a pissing match in high school type thing. Was it this or was it not? And it was not. And if you read it, those were valid. And we know for a fact that the manager was not certified last year. The pool was not safe. Kids went in anyway, but it was because no one, the public didn't know. And I understand that, but that was the deal, that she was not. In order to, these girls were gonna see, actually one did see an attorney. And the deal was that everything would be dropped and let go because she was going back and forth from Jefferson to here. And she's now hired again. There was a pellet gun brought in that was shot. Everything is all documented down. And then there were fake pool, as in, when you check the pool, we have all
You
copies
write
of that.
down these complaints. Each for-
And that's not okay, because she wasn't there to check the pool. So, but we have, and those copies were given out as well. I don't think you guys got a copy of those. I'm not quite sure.
The Department of Human Services has those.
Well, and so does now the state of Iowa does, because that was not okay, what happened. It was valid, she should have been, and she was brought in, everything, and nothing was done. Whether there was one person that put in for this job or not, we have time to train someone to take care of this. And like I was told by Captain Handel, sorry.
Your time's up.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take that under
Thank you, Jerry.
Ron Vickers.
Yes. I got a few questions. Last month, was voted on not to spray my street, and I want to know why.
Well, it was a mixed vote.
1 to 2 and 2.
Yeah, it was time.
We tabled it because Chad wasn't here.
Yeah.
Why was it even brought up for a vote? That's been agreed upon for 15 years. It seems like we get a new council and we change it again.
Agreed upon last year.
Was that street in decent shape when you built your house?
Yes, it was seal coated. They seal coated it one other time. Then it's been seal coated again, and we parked our cars over at Readers, and they never showed up to do it. I don't know what the council's got against my family, but it seems like we have a problem. And I want to know what you want to do about it. I pay my taxes just like everybody else in this town.
Well, I can't bring it up right now. I can when I get down to the mayor part. To discuss that again, because that's already been voted on, right? And I'll put my arguments in for but I can't. You want to stick around to the end of the meeting and you can hear what I have to say.
Well, last year, you guys wanted to do the ditches and all that stuff, and we said, no, we just want it sprayed because that is a very busy street. Very busy.
I don't think any of these people know that though.
And I power wash my house all the time. You can't even sit outside in the summertime because of the dust. Yeah, it's got a speed limit sign, 20 miles an hour. You might as well put 100 miles an hour speed limit sign there.
You and me and maybe Kevin Ostrander are probably the ones that go there.
Stick around. Time up, Laura?
21 seconds to go. Go ahead, somebody else needs.
Anybody else?
I'll add there to Ron that, yeah, that was approved as part of Readers getting the land and vacating, Fifth Street or Fourth Street down there?
Fifth Street.
Fifth Street? Yeah, that was part of the deal. The Reader was gonna take care of the road, make a good base on it. And then the city was going to seal coat or spray it at least a couple times a year. That was part of the original agreement that was made so that Reader can have that road.
That is exactly right, and what happened, what they wanted to do, they wanted to dig out ditches on each side,
Everybody decided not to, leave it that way.
and we decided we didn't want that.
Right.
And I can't remember, they might have furnished the gravel, I don't remember that.
Right, yeah, I remember we decided not to dig the ditches out, leave them as it was,
Yeah.
because there wasn't a drainage issue, there wasn't a problem there, but they
So-
were going to build it, crown it, and the city was gonna make sure it got sealed. That was part of the original agreement, so.
Yeah,
So that means they wouldn't have to do as much as
I'm
the
done.
original.
You can reset the time.
anybody else?
Yes, I had my car, towed, and I was there at the time, and I told him not to hook it up with a chain and a hook, and he did anyway, and destroyed my tire. And I told him, you don't know what you're doing, don't hook it up. But he went ahead and did it, and now the tire is just blown, and it's not an old tire, it's not one that was worn out. It was one that I bought, about 9 months ago. So
Did you file a complaint?
Yes, I did.
Well, I have to go through those complaints.
Can you go get a couple chairs?
Thank you.
Anybody else? We'll take that. We'll check
I
that
have one
out.
other question about, the pit bull attack that I had. I was told by you and, the previous compliance officer that the dog would be, banned from the city, and that I would get reimbursed for the damage I did to my dogs that I had to take to the vet. I did everything I was told, I gave you a copy, I gave the sheriff a copy, the whole bit, I haven't received a penny, and the dog is still there, and they're still letting it out without a leash, and it's running around all the time.
The dog is still running around.
Yes, it is.
And that's a danger. My mom walks every day, and she has to walk past that house. And one of these times, she's gonna get attacked. I can guarantee you, because
It's a big dog, I've seen it.
Yeah, and it did a lot of damage to my dogs.
Well, we went through this once, there should be a police report on it, I think they did talk to him, or did something.
Well, I know he
If we
attacked
fall
your
back
You're
wife,
asking,
he attacked
so you're asking.
Do you remember the deal, Jack?
Which one has been three?
It's a pit bull in the west end of town, attacked, in fact, it tore into one of her dogs.
No, not.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yeah, different. This one did attack my car when I drove by, but.
Yeah, I know that we have a couple of them we've cited for dog running at large under the county ordinance. But as far as us removing the dog, we can't do that. That's the city council has to do that.
He also doesn't have rabies shots, didn't have tags. So I got to take the chance that I hopefully didn't get rabies from the dog.
Chances they won't pay for it. Oh, how do we get you to get rid of the dog?
First, the city council would have to deem the dog vicious by your city code. Once it's deemed vicious, then we'd have to serve letters to them. And after the letters are served, then we can seize and dispose of the dog.
We can handle that.
Is there an ordinance in town on dogs? Because I had dealt with this pit bull mowing, and it was to the point, I carry a 45 on me when I'm mowing.
There's
Does it
an
come to me again?
there's an ordinance against dogs. They've named a couple breeds,
Okay,
but even if it isn't that breed, if that dog comes out and bites somebody, or
we dealt with mom being bit before by other dogs down there. And it's coming, like I said, it's coming to me when I'm mowing. And I won't back down from it, but I won't be afraid to put a bullet in it either.
it's that same dog.
Same dog.
Okay.
That's the first house east of your mom?
Sorry,
The first house east of your mom?
yeah,
Glen Household place?
yeah, Brett's.
I don't remember this.
We'll, remind them, we'll take care of it. Anybody else? Okay, moving right along. Approval of resolution 2022-0613-01 on raise of cities clerks' wages. Lyons.
She hasn't been here long enough.
I'm gonna make I wanna approve the resolution of the 2022-0613-01 on raise of city clerk's wages. I make the motion that we raise her $2 an hour.
I'll second.
No. I'll go for $1, I won't go for $2. It's too much.
When's the next wage review?
Well,
There's one in 90 days.
we did the 90-day one.
Then when's the regular wage review?
Yearly? Chad, when have you guys,
It's been yearly, I believe.
yearly then?
The problem is, we hired her low because we didn't really have a way to check her references, because we just didn't. And with what she is doing now, the financial stuff, all of the city stuff, the mess that we were in, that she has now sorted out for us, messes that we're not even sorted out yet. $18 an hour would have been an appropriate starting place for what she was. And we started her low because we just didn't know. And I think that anything, less than that, I think that she has more than proven herself. She likes her job. She is good at her job. She keeps us all kind of on the right road. She checks with League of Cities and everybody else on stuff. She works in there. She's kind.
Well, I usually don't do this in the middle of a vote, but I personally think she is doing a good job. And, but I don't have a vote. That's just my input.
I'm gonna vote aye, but I think we also need to do a review for Brett.
Yes.
The way everything is going with the price is going up, I don't think it's right that he hasn't even been reviewed, basically.
Well, we talked
I
with
agree,
him, and then we
but now
said
it's-
we were gonna do
And so I think we just,
It is time.
yeah, it's time. I can agree with you,
Yeah,
Chad.
I
I
would agree.
agree too.
So we can put that on next month's agenda, Brett's right.
Yep.
Mickey Hillman, approval of service contract due to fuel prices.
Yes, I talked to, Kelly Rice, and he agrees, monthly, he's gonna check fuel prices, and then he's gonna adjust the charge that he charges us to haul the recycling to.
You said how often, I'm sorry?
Monthly, okay, thank you. You know, he volunteered to do it every time, and I said, no, let's, monthly will be enough. I talked to him last Tuesday, the container's not finished, but it will be done, it will be here July 1st. We're gonna start out on call, because we're thinking with the way we've designed this, we might be able to get more stuff in, so instead of going every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. So I will check it every week. He will be here, and then I'll call him, and we'll try to get a system where we know how often it needs to go. He says he'll be here when I call him a day or two in order to pick it up. I talked to Mick Burkett last week, and he would like a letter from somebody on the council telling the board of supervisors that we no longer want their recycling container at that location. And I said we would look at doing that. I didn't think that would be a problem. He'll have to find another place to put it. I don't want the counties next to ours because it'll be too confusing. And I just want the city to have their own there. I would like to get the whole filled there with something, And Brett's already gone with the weed eater and cleaned up the area for us. We need to put something in the newsletter explaining that instead of having a division in the container, we don't need to do that. You can mix your plastic with your paper and your cardboard, just open up one of the doors and throw everything in. Because
Crush your cardboard.
yes,
You need to crush your
Yes.
cardboard.
yes, please crush your cardboard so that we can not send the container. But we're gonna save, I estimate probably $500 a month going this way. So it's not a whole lot, but it's a start. And if we want to do training again, let's put something in the newsletter.
That's why I was saying we need to put up some type of signage saying what can go, what can't.
I think that'd be a good idea. That's always a good idea, whether people listen to you or not, So I'm gonna recommend that we go ahead and approve our contract. It's a 3-year contract with Kelly Rice. So,
I'll second.
okay, Jerry, it's your turn.
Gustin driveway discussion. Hoskinson.
I guess first, we would like to apologize to the Gustin family for any confusion or inconvenience that was caused to you during or after the installation of the drainage tile. Our mayor misspoke and did not have the legal authorization of the past or the present council when he made the promise that he and the code enforcer would replace the brick driveway as it was originally. Unfortunately, we do not have the finances to do that.
I'd like to comment on that because in your own city ordinances adopted December 11th of 2017, it states right in there that the city is responsible, the permit issuer is responsible for restoring the property. It is to be put back in the shape it was before they come through, or better, which, put it back the way it was is fine, I'm okay with that. But I can't mow out front, they haven't fixed the rust where they got the dump truck stuck in the yard. The whole driveway is caved in, the driveway west of us is caved in, and it hasn't been fixed. The grass hasn't been seeded. That hasn't been drug and leveled out like it was before. They haven't done nothing for a year. I come and talked to you and gave you a couple options, you know, maybe this would work, maybe this would work. If they're more, that's fine. I don't care, don't do them. But I want the driveway put back. Them bricks are grandfathered in. They've been there over 55 years. They've been there longer than I've been alive. They're grandfathered in. Driveway goes back the way it was before.
I was in touch with our attorney, who is here today. When I asked him, he said, the email that I have from him, I'm not finding anything that was specifically addresses the issue of whether the city has to replace with the same or similar material as was used. He also then gave me the information on 3 ordinances. One of them, if it's excavated, it has to be back in a manner that's satisfactory to the city. That's one of the ordinances.
So you're saying a big pothole in the damn driveway is acceptable to the city? I come down and trench your driveway, wouldn't you want it back like it was?
I'm not saying that a pothole is acceptable. I am saying that we would fix yours the way we fixed the other driveways that we did when we tiled, which is.
So had it been concrete, what would you do? Had it been a concrete driveway, what would you have done?
I cannot answer that because it's not a concrete driveway. What I can tell you is we have not been able to find where our mayor had authorization to say that he would replace the brick, that the city would replace the brick. What he said is he and the code enforcer would replace the brick, and then the code enforcer quit and he backed out of it. And it was never agreed upon by the city council, past or present, to do that. We do not have the funding. If we do that for one driveway, then we have to do something just as good for all the other driveways. We do not have the funding.
The rest of the driveways were gravel driveways. Ours was not, that was brick. Like I said, it's grandfathered in. Sit down and go through your ordinances.
I did for 2 hours. I
Got it
went
right
through
here.
it twice,
Right
and
on,
I
right
have
now.
it right here. John, would you like to jump in here at all?
No.
Okay, well, one of them says all excavations for building sewer installations shall be adequately guarded, Streets, sidewalks, parkways, and other public property disturbed during the course of the work shall be restored in a manner satisfactory to the city. Page 179 of the ordinance book.
Right here, it says restoration of public property, streets, sidewalks, alley, and other public property disturbed in the course of the work shall be restored in condition of the property prior to the commencement of the work or in the manner satisfactory
Or in
to
a
the city
manner satisfactory
at the
to the
expense of the
city.
permit holder.
Or / property owner. Please
Okay,
do
I'm
not jump
gonna-
in. We're not taking extra comments from the audience at this time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to set up a meeting with you guys on my own,
Well,
where my lawyer and I can all sit down with you and talk,
It also says backfilling and restoration.
which they didn't do. When they backfilled, they shoved in, they didn't pack nothing, they just shoved it in and called it good.
I was not there at the time. What I can tell you is only what I have been told up until this point. They had to wait a certain amount of time for settling. They were waiting to see what we were going to do on this before anything was finished. We did not know how to proceed with this. We've been checking into prices, and then we found out what it was going to cost to actually have the brick put back. And like I said, we cannot afford to
That
do
should have
that.
been checked into before. I have the video of everything they did.
Right, and like I told you, our mayor misspoke. It was not agreed upon by the council, and the city is not responsible. Backfilling and restoration, any person excavating in the streets shall be responsible for the backfilling in accordance with city specifications and the restoration of pavement or surfacing as to as good a condition as it existed prior or satisfactory to the city. That's what
Okay.
I'm telling you.
So when are you gonna come down and finish it? When are
We
you gonna
will
level
come-
off, backfill, and do everything else?
Now that we're having an actual council meeting on it, that's what we are doing now, is to determine, look, we've checked into everything, we don't have the finances to do this, we will get you a White Rock drive to what is on city parking, that's what we can do. It should have been seated, I thought that, Brett had done some seating.
I've seen it twice.
He seeded it twice, it apparently didn't take, but now that we know we can't go another avenue, this is what we're going to have to do. Now we will start taking care of it.
But they're gonna come down and backfill and level all that out where they got the dump truck stuck and the holes and all that.
We're going to try to make the city parking what it was. You know, we will try to grade it, and I haven't seen it. I don't know that there's ruts and all that. I don't know.
Which video would you like to see? I got tons of them.
I don't need to see it now. I'm perfectly capable of driving down there at some point and seeing what we can do. But what I'm telling you is I'm going to make a motion that we put a White Rock driveway in there to replace what was disturbed. And we will work on seeing what we can get done with the rest of that.
I'm gonna add to this,
Whatever you need to
Yes.
do the other day.
and I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened in case nobody knows. In order to accept this lower bid of $64,000 from this $256,000 bid, the city, and you signed off on it.
I did not sign off on it.
City took the lower bid.
That wasn't us.
That was the previous.
That was the previous council. Chad, maybe you can jump in there and say, you know something about it, but we know nothing about that, Jerry. It must have been.
Anyway, this is the way it was, a $64,000 bid. He did it for that price. If he didn't have to do his job, the grass seeding and that, and I says, do the finish work. Seed, grass. As a representative of the city, me, we restore to the original condition before they dug through.
It was not voted on that we could find by past
The-
or present council.
That
And
was
that's what
If
our
I
attorney
knew,
has said.
in order to go from $256,000 down to $64,000, that's what everybody agreed on, and you paid the bill.
Why was it not voted on? Why do we not have any kind of a vote that we can find anywhere on
Yes.
that?
or a contract.
Where's
There's
the
never
where's
a
the
contract
contract?
with this company either. I find it hard to
But
believe
as
that
a
someone from that
representative
high
of the city, we're still liable.
You were a representative of the city if the city council voted on what you represented
We've
to them,
covered,
and
we've
that
covered
is in the
other
ordinance
areas,
book.
Paula, we've covered other areas where representatives of the city did something that
We
wasn't,
can't go back on
well, we're
that,
going back,
Jerry.
huh?
I can't go back and fix anything that a city council prior to me did.
Do you
I'm
think
Did
saying
not do.
on this,
it's
yes, or did not do.
it's standard practice to put things back the way you were? Standard practice.
We don't have the finances to keep putting out the money that has been said, yeah, we'll fix this and we'll do that and let's do this and that without
Do we-
council approval.
We did this tile partially because of the DNR.
No, quick question. Wasn't that money figured in on the bid to replace that driveway? Or,
The $256,000 bid it was,
okay,
but it wasn't the $64,000 bid.
How many driveways was this company gonna fix for that kind of price difference, Jerry?
And did you take into effect when you said that
We got the
somebody-
bids.
I believe you, but I'm just saying, did you take into consideration how much it's gonna cost to replace his driveway up to their specifications? I mean, what is our bids we've had so far?
I think the lowest one was what, $4,300 was the lowest, the highest was $11,500.
Well, that's a
and I
lot
think
cheaper than $256,000.
That's also, but if we
More
do his
expensive.
driveway, then how many more driveways are we gonna have to do?
If we screw up somebody else's driveway, then we're gonna replace.
It's standard practice anyway, when we do something like this. If I'd have thought the council was gonna reject that for saving that much money, I would have never done it.
If you would have thought that the council was gonna reject it, you would have got the council's approval to begin with, instead of just doing it without council approval, which is how we get into these problems, and there's more than one.
I think it's a disgrace that you rejected it. I really do.
I think it's a disgrace that you said we will do it without council approval.
Is it? Whatever.
Whatever.
You mean I gotta come running, what did I do the other day? I was almost afraid to do it without getting your approval.
It's not my
It's not
approval,
my
it's the whole
approval, it is the
council.
council.
You're the one that
approval.
jumps on it.
It's the whole council that needs to
Maybe
know.
because I don't like the fact that
Well,
nobody was getting council approval.
It's done, and I feel we obligated to it because as mayor, I said it.
As mayor, you said it without council approval, and without council approval, you did not have the power to say it, and that's what caused the problem to begin with.
You mean it doesn't have to be fixed? Is that
I'm
what
not
you're saying?
I'm not saying it doesn't have to be fixed. I'm saying we don't have the finances to spend $4,300 on a driveway.
Can we have people be quiet? We have to conduct a meeting, and it's very hard to hear. I need you guys to be quiet, please. I'm trying to look at everybody. I'm not pointing you out, that I'm just saying, we need the public to be quiet, and if we can't, we'll ask you to leave, okay? I just, thank you, so we can hear what's going on. Sorry, go ahead.
No, thank you. It may be a disgrace, but, right now, the city, and we will soon get to that, we're looking at, the emerald ash borer has hit us and hit us hard. We're gonna be spending a lot of money to take down these trees, and they're not something that can be taken down over a period of years. They've gotta be taken down now, and $4,300 is a lot of money. I'm saying we put crushed rock in, give them a crushed rock driveway up till where their property line is, and then the brick takes over. That is city parking, it's city property.
So had it been concrete, what would you do? Still do the white rock?
Yes. I would have, I don't know. We're not crossing that bridge in particular.
Well, I mean, I'm not complaining. Take the brick, put the brick back, that's all I care. I want the driveway back. I don't want to have to deal with huge holes and sinkholes in my driveway.
I understand that. The white rock, we're willing to do that. If the white rock sinks, we'll put some more white rock in there. The problem is the agreement was made to replace it where the mayor and the code enforcer at the time were going to do the work themselves. The code enforcer at the time quit, and the mayor said, I'm not gonna do it now. Here, you council, you figure out what you're gonna do about this problem. It's been dumped on us. We didn't ask for it. We're not trying to not give you a driveway. We're just saying we can't afford to put the brick back. To have brick put down and put it down right is very, very costly, and we don't have that kind of funding.
The bricks already.
That should have been in the estimate, because when they come through, they rip through they ripped through phone lines, water lines, everything that company ripped through there and didn't.
That's because we went with the cheaper bid, because
Okay,
so, you know-
is it worth taking the money, say, that $4,300 for what's gonna cost for a lawyer, court costs, and everything to get this driveway replaced, if I have to hire a lawyer? I mean, look at the big picture here. The rest of the driveways down there were all white rock driveways. Ours was brick, and it has been forever. That's been part of our value of that home. So now you are decreasing the value of our home every year. Because that was one of the assets of the home, was the brick driveway.
I can't.
That's why I'm
I can't change what the mayor said to you when he misspoke with authority that he did not have. I can't change that. All I can do is go with what our attorney has said to us and what is in our code book, which is we, have to make it satisfactory to the city.
So if I come down and turn through your driveway and just leave clay across there, no white rock or nothing, that's good to go?
I'm not saying I'm gonna leave clay in your drive. I'm saying we're gonna put white rock on your drive, as we did.
But you're decreasing the value of my property.
But the part that we're putting white rock on is city property.
Okay, so you guys come down and mow it then? If it's city property,
It says in the ordinance, you as a citizen are responsible for maintaining that, but it actually belongs to the city. And actually, if you have a tree, if you plant a tree on your city parking and decide you don't like it anymore and go to cut it down, you have to get permission from the city. That then becomes their city tree.
okay, exactly how far from the center of the street is city property? From the
Brett,
center
can
of
you
our
tell
house.
me? I don't know, I don't know the measurements. We have looked on,
And where do you
Beacon?
determine the center of the street?
you go by the manhole covers and you find a manhole cover here and a manhole cover here and you draw a line down from the center of it and then that on you measure, I don't know the
The
footage.
size, it goes by the size of the street, Paul. I don't
I
know
was
if
told
that's
by
an
the center of the street.
80, I don't know if that's an 80-foot or 100-foot street.
But that is how it's determined. It's actually legally determined. There's a way to do it. I can't do it for you. But we have also looked at the website Beacon, if I remember right, Brett, and they have found what it is, where it comes to. And because it is city parking, city right of way, we have the right to go through that when we are doing something for the city. And we will put back.
I personally think
Go ahead,
that,
Mark.
I don't approve of it, I mean, go ahead, Mark.
I want to put my 2 cents worth in, you can hate me if you want, but I think it's our obligation to put it back the way it was. Because everybody else, and
And
if we have to do it
the
for everybody, we have to do it for everybody. Because nobody else is gonna want their yards tore up by the city to get something fixed and just leave it half
That-
done or something. It
that
should
was
be
put in
back
there
away.
as
I think
a-
it's just common sense and courtesy of the city of Grand Junction to do that.
that
That's
was
my 2 cents worth. And if you guys don't like
necessity,
it,
that whole
that's what you guys don't like.
tile was a necessity of the DOT of the state of Iowa. Because we had to take care of that intake, whether we wanted to or not. It was on the highway because previous mayor, as you put it, the mayor, the way you say mayor, signed a paper, said that we're responsible. And we were.
I just feel.
So
that
anyway, we
everything
eliminated all the inflow into the sewer
I
pipe.
understand why you did it, Jerry. Nobody is questioning why the tile was put through. What we are questioning is the fact that you promised something without council approval, and now we're stuck trying to decide how we're going to fix this. That's what the problem is. There was no council approval that we can find. If you can.
Was
find
there
it,
council
show it to me.
approval when you kicked me out from helping the town? With all my
From what?
dragging my tractor out to the sewer plant stuff?
That
Was there
was,
council
you wanna
approval?
bring
That's
that
got
up,
nothing
Jerry?
to do with the Gustin
Bring it up.
driveway.
Move on. Bring it on, Jerry. We'll talk about it if you want to.
Okay, we'll carry on. Make your motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we take care of the driveways with white rock and that we seed and make sure that, the rest of that is, appropriately leveled or however it is, and the rut's taken care of.
I'll second. Aye.
I for now, but I wanna put it in there, we're gonna renew, how do you wanna say it? Come back eventually and discuss, putting it back the way it's supposed to should be.
We can't do that. Once it's voted, it's voted, so vote how you're wanting to.
Nay.
So what are we doing?
Going to the next thing.
No,
So what happened?
what did you vote on, just to
We
put
voted
rock
on
in
it,
there?
and it was voted for White Rock. White Rock.
My mom uses a cane and has to walk to that driveway with White Rock, she's gonna fall. And then it's on city property, so the city's gonna be responsible for her bills. Moving on. Moving on.
Jerry.
New business, Joan St. Clair.
I'm nursing new meetings, I have to put up with.
Careful, pass around. You don't have to move so much. Careful, pass them around, you don't have to move so much. We're doing a mistake.
Here, I'll take one over here.
We'll take one.
Nope.
Try to help your knee, lady.
Give me one.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody got one?
Here. You then hand me one. There we go, now we're all holding it there.
But this is mine.
I think you all know who I am because I've been here before. I'm Joan St.
Quiet in the audience, please.
Your agent on your insurance, and we're here to review the insurance coverage and approve the new coverage. The first page is our list of buildings with values, and I've listed there, it says proposed values, those were the company's proposed values. And then if you've made any changes, those are highlighted in yellow. We're on the very first page, right inside the cover. So we did change on contents at the library. We also changed the contents at the pool building for is it the filter, Brett, that we included?
At the pool, yes.
Yeah, at the pool. So. And then the next page, we increased the contents here at the community center and all of the electronic equipment that we have here was increased to 10,000. And then we added the little storage building next door that's used to be a garage. What percentage did this go on? I think they used an 8% increase. Normally they use a 4 in values, but the building costs, as you all know, have increased a lot. So they decided they first put out a list of everything at 4%. I met with you guys, we went over that, the 4% versus the 8%. So it's an 8% increase in values. The next page is the inland marine, that's our equipment that we have scheduled. There weren't very many changes there other than we updated the fire equipment and the rescue equipment. So those increased a little bit from where they were before. So overall, we're up about 600,000 in values of buildings and contents. Next page is our general liability. We carry a $3 million limit. There is no certificate period limit. We pay up to $3 million on any one claim. And there is no deductible on that. There's a premises medical limit of $5,000. In the auto, we have another $3 million limit for auto liability. We carry auto medical payments at $5,000, uninsured and underinsured motorists at $100,000. And there's no deductible on that either. And you'll see the schedule of the vehicles there. And we carry replacement costs on the fire trucks and the ambulances. We did add the new ambulance at replacement cost at $235,000.
And we carry a $350 deductible comp, $600 deductible collision on those. The last thing at the bottom of that page is the public officials liability. That's a $3 million limit there as well. That covers you as a council for present, past, and future claims. If you're no longer on the council and you put your name in a suit, you're still covered under this policy. And the last one is the law enforcement liability. We carry a $3 million limit there, and that is on top of the cities, the counties provide you law enforcement. But that's the coverage for you guys. If there were a situation where there was a problem, the city would be insured as well. Yes, so it would be probably named in a suit as well. If you're looking for the premiums, you're not going to see them until I give them to you. So, if that's what you're looking for.
That is what.
Okay. So anyway, we've got a $3 million limit there. It only costs contributions a little more than 144. They didn't get that changed. But the next page is the IMWCA Work Comp. We carry $1 million limit there for employers' liability limits. Under the Iowa law, the worker can either take the benefits or they're under the law, or he can sue. He can't do both. If he sues, if you're negligent, he can sue you. That's where the $1 million limit comes in. Otherwise, the limit is there as far as specific things, like if you lose an arm or something like that. Those are in the state limits. And then the work comp is based on payroll, and I've shown what the payroll was last year. IMWCA estimates what the payroll for each class is for the new year, and it's based on the audit from the year before last. So those are not necessarily what the numbers will be. I mean, it's an audited policy, so you'll have to, at the end of the policy period, provide the actual payrolls. So our payroll total is up 9,528. If the payrolls are less than what we had here, then we get money back. If there's more than that, then we pay additional premium. And workers' comp also has an experience modification factor that has to do with the claims that you've had and claim experience. If you're equal to what's normal for the classes of work, your experience mod would be 1.00. Yours at 0.95, so you're paying 95% of what the normal premium would be. Next page talks about the discounts that are on the policy. Because we went to 95, that puts us in a different discount place. So instead of 19 like it was last year, it's 15, and our good experience bonus is 8% instead of 10%. IMWCA has 24-hour service call company nurse. When we have somebody injured, you call that number and they'll triage over the phone and advise on what to do. If anybody's, if it's a serious injury, call 911 to take care of it. And we do have coverage for volunteers. There's non-statutory volunteer coverage for volunteers for medical only, up to $25,000 for volunteer with a 2-year limitation on it. That is for volunteers that work, maybe they clean up the parks or the flowers or something that way. So we carry that coverage, so we've got some medical coverage for volunteers. And that costs $10 per volunteer, so it's pretty cheap. All of you guys as council members need to sign the form that needs to be signed by volunteers, so that because when you're doing something like that, that's not part of your job. That's a volunteer thing. So all the council members I know do things that aren't part of their job description. So I think Kenny's got those.
Is it one for the whole year or one per project?
We can do it for the whole year. just say the whole year, yeah. Now, if we're doing something like Greg Bride, then, you know, then we do something different. We hope you don't do that again for a little while. The next page is the bond that we have, the faithful performance bond that we have on our employees. I think about $25,000 coverage there. And I showed you what that premium is. It was $433 last year, it's $421 this year. Now for the page that we don't have. The ICAP numbers, we're up about $4,500 from last year. Part of that is the property coverage where we've got almost $600,000 more coverage in property. And also the auto shows that the physical damage for the new ambulance. So, and then you'll see there the optional increased liability if you wanted to go to $4 million or $5 million. And coverage is available up to $15 million. You guys have carried the $3 million limit since about the second year, I think. I've been here lots of times, guys, and last year and this year was the first time I had to show you these kind of benefits that we're seeing up everywhere. And insurance. Just because we've had 2 durations and how many tornadoes in Ireland. Overall, we're up 4,732. Another issue that I wanted to bring up that Cammie and I have been talking about, we've been working on for a while, is the 2080 agreement between Dana and the city of Grand Junction for fire protection. That agreement expired in 2020. John wrote a new agreement and you guys approved it as a council. There's a resolution to approve it, but it's never been signed. And so I was at Dana last week and I talked to them about that. They've got a new attorney. He's going to review it, I guess, and may make some changes to it. So hopefully something's gonna happen there, but it's probably more important for them than it is for you to get that done, so. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah, so what are we paying?
You'll be paid the ICAP premium. I don't know whether have you already paid the work comp?
No, I was just gonna ask you to say a few words about this one, because it's like $5,000 for
Yeah.
4,900.
Yep. Yeah, it's 4,900. Yeah, that's it. This is the IMWCA. This is the workers' comp that we have here. And so you pay that directly to IMWCA, and then the ICAP premium comes to Heritage Insurance. So that total is $26,414.
That's what we pay you yearly.
Yeah, so that's what you paid this year. Yeah.
26,000 what?
414
How many years have you handled our insurance?
since 2010, I believe. ICAP, if you're not familiar with ICAP and IMWCA, they were formed in the mid-80s because insurance premiums went sky high and nobody could afford them. So there's a group of agents that got together and said, hey, we've got to do something and develop a program for public entities. So it's specifically for public entities. They're the only ones that have a separate limit for auto liability, general liability, public officials in law enforcement. Normally you would see a lower amount than maybe an umbrella that goes over the top, but as it is, you got four $3 million limits on your policy, so, that's, nobody else does that. But they're well-known and so is IMWCA.
So when you say nobody else does that, no other insurance company does that?
No. Most of them would write maybe $1 million limit on the base policy, and then they might write a $5 million or, umbrella on the top of it. But that could be used up in one big claim. Because anything went over the $1 million, then you go into your umbrella. They, instead of doing an umbrella, they have a separate limit for each section coverage. Any other questions?
Well, we need to approve that invoice, the payment of that invoice, so somebody can motion it, please.
I made a motion to pay the workman comp premium invoice.
Did you say both of them or just the first one?
Oh, I thought, just one, okay.
Well, the ICAP, the
Yep,
ICAP
that
policy,
would do.
the ICAP policy is a separate policy. I need to have Jerry sign it, Jerry, if you just sign where I've got it marked, I'll fill in the rest of it. Sign with the arrows off.
Joan, we still have that 2006 pickup listed. We don't have that anymore.
Thought we took that off. But I still got that on there. I know we took it off. Because you got credit back for it last year, so I missed it when I pulled up the last presentation and updated.
And what's the deal with the new printer and the new IT gear?
Yeah.
Like we have a laptop, this owl, and we also have the new printer.
Okay, I need to do the values.
Okay, I'm gonna send them to you.
That's all we got. That's all I need is the value.
Am I supposed to sign that without all that filled in?
You can sign it and then you check the boxes at the top as you come around. Can't get it. You initial these. I reviewed the information with you, and I reviewed all the vehicles and the property. And as far as you're concerned, everything's okay. You just check, each one of those you can initial.
Just check it.
That's what that'll work.
All of these two.
Now, you do this one. And then this one down here says that you don't want any increased limits. You're not wanting to raise your limits from 3 million to a higher limit. So you need to mark that one.
Check it.
Mark that one, yeah.
I don't want to accept any.
And then sign off where the red dot thing is. You have to sign off on
You
it.
can do that.
I can fill that out.
One of these hours? One of these hours, or you are taking off?
I'm
Oh, yeah.
gonna give you a copy of them.
Perfect.
What happens if somebody checks that when I'm not looking?
Well, then you gotta tell me whether you want 10 million or 15 million worth of coverage. Then we'll do it. For the premium. I figure you don't wanna change your limits this year.
We approve what we need to approve for that thing.
And there's the invoice for the ICAP policy. And your schedule of insurance for the workers' comp.
What's this Dana 28E agreement that's on here?
Well, that's.
Was that in there somewhere?
That's what I was talking about, the 2080 agreement for the fire protection that you provide for Dana. And then Cammy, this is a copy of everything
Thank you.
that he signed and everything is there. Thank you very much. I wish I had better news on
Thank you.
premiums, but
Thanks for coming.
All right, thanks
it
for
is what it is.
Thanks for your information and thanks for being here.
You have my card and I am on call 24 hours a day, so if you have any
Approve the basic contract for vendors enforcing city.
She's still here.
Yeah, Jerry, you got the floor now, it's all yours, okay?
I was taking the floor.
I see that, you want to get rid of it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joan.
Bye-bye.
Lyons.
It has been brought to my attention that we have people doing work for the city. They do not have a contract, and we don't know about liability and insurance and things like that. Cammy has requested, because I think it's gonna be easier for her to keep track of what we have to pay and who we have to pay and when and where, if we have contracts. So, I guess I would like to make a motion that we accept a basic contract we get for each vendor that is invoicing for the city. Cammy, can you help me with this?
Yeah, basically, we will have an audit in the summer. And the first thing will be to check the orders that we place to different vendors, the agreement that we have with them, and then the payment that we make to them. So these three go like hand in hand. And in multiple cases, we just get the invoice and it says monthly fee. We don't know what the actual thing is. And for those kinds of invoices, we need like a frame agreement, a really basic one that tells us about these details, and then we will be good. Basically, this is it.
So if we know somebody that's going to set up something for us, then we need to have them just get a hold of.
Yeah, a very,
them.
very simple example is our cleaning, this cleaning service that the community center takes. We know the lady, we know the fee, and then we get an invoice from her without any explanation. So the auditor will ask, okay, but why is this invoice with you guys? Why do you make the payment? We don't know anything about it.
On you and you'll get them.
Yeah, so it's really a simple one that can be applied for each single vendor like that, and then we are good. I'm good for sure. Thank you. I mean, if you vote on it.
I made a motion to approve basic contracts for all vendors invoicing.
Second.
Aye.
Thanks.
Does that include like hiring a company to tow cars for us too?
If it's a regular
Absolutely.
service,
If it's
yes.
something that we're gonna do all
If
the
it's something
time.
we're gonna pay a person or company to do, absolutely. Big or small, I would say. I mean, if it's a $50 charge, you need to have proof of, you know, what that $50 charge is and
That pass.
Mhm.
Brett, tell us about the street signs.
Jerry and I both had some complaints about the speed on 15th Street. And there isn't any speed limit signs on 15th Street, so I just want to put two up.
And tell me where 15th is.
It'd be the Catholic Church Road, this is Farm to Market Road.
Okay.
Down.
From Main Street to Elizabeth, it gets going pretty fast.
I'll make a motion to put the signs up.
I'll second, but I wanna say something. You know, you've got a couple signs somewhere along the way for, these are expensive, is there any way, I mean, I don't mean to be,
I don't know, I might have these on hand, I'm not sure.
okay,
Like, I know I got a couple, I just didn't look to see what the mile per hour actually was. But these will come from the prison, so they'll be a little cheaper than going straight through the DOT sign shop.
great, that's what I'd like you to do, is try to figure out a way to get them a little cheaper. I
I know we were done, but.
KC yearly application, cigarette permit. No.
Yeah, it's basically just their right to sell cigarettes, so we, I guess, should approve it.
Make a motion to.
Second.
Aye.
That was fast. Cigarettes in
Don't want my
Kersey.
people without
There you go. Makes them cranky.
What about the sewer lagoon, Brett?
Let me get my sheets here. Okay, so everybody should have a copy. Bolton and me, I don't, I got everything set up to send to the DNR. The long and short of it is, we're okay right now, but we have to approve this tonight so that I can call Andrew tonight and tell him, yep, send this to the DNR. And all this is saying is we are going to have a plan for construction by June 1st of 2024. And in this is allowed of everything that we are going to have to do by then. It didn't give us as much time as we were hoping for. We were hoping to push it off to 2027. DNR said, no, you're not getting that long. But that's kind of where we're at with it. I mean, this really, but a plan that's not up for debate, has to happen.
Okay, so Bolton Mink comes up with what needs to happen.
They-
Get it up to speed, get it corrected.
Yeah, which
Then
they,
DNR has to approve it, or
so the DNR is
says it don't be on
gonna
the plan?
approve it, like, they're gonna approve this, they just want this by Thursday, I think it is. So Bolton Mink, all the plans and specs are here. What Bolton Mink has set up to tell the DNR, hey, this is what we're going to have done by June 1st of 2024, which is exactly what the DNR wants.
Okay, so once DNR gets their hands on it,
Then we need to start getting things in line. I mean, it's gonna obviously be hard to get pricing because I don't know, who knows what the price is gonna be tomorrow, let alone in 2 years. But, this will just give us, this will show us exactly what we need to do. And then then the council can decide when they wanna pursue it, but it has to be done by June. Planned to complete construction by June 1st, 2024. And that's for everything that we've discussed in the past.
Bolton and Mink are not the actual company that
No,
does the work.
they're the engineering firm that the previous council hired to make the plans and specs.
So we need to, in moving forward,
We're gonna have to get with the contractor.
we need to get some bids.
Yep. But that all depends on how soon we wanna do this. Because like I said, we can get bids and then we decide not to do it for a year, well, the bids aren't gonna be good.
Okay.
Any idea how long it will take to complete this? Once,
Roughly a month.
is all it's gonna take to get it completely done?
That's according, talking to, when I met, well, Jerry was out there too. Dave, myself, and Jerry went out there, I don't know, it's been a while ago, a month, and a half, 2 months ago. And the engineer actually came out, the one that wrote all this up. He came out and met with us and talking to the contractor the last time before everything got all messed up, about a month. And that's worst case scenario.
I'm gonna make the motion that we get this to the DNR. I feel like we need to keep, like maybe next council meeting, we need to come up with a game plan. Or sooner rather than later, I'm just gonna talk to the council.
Aye.
So let's put this on the agenda to discuss the timeframe maybe moving forward and who. And Brett, can you come back with like who even does this work?
Yeah, so, Rick did have, I don't know if we pronounce it right, Ness Excavation, I believe. We're actually building the Quick Start in Perry right now. So I can call them and see if he can come up and give a rebid now that we have plans and specs for them to go off of. Because the amount, do you remember the guy at Ames we called Jerry, the contractor? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but anyhow, I'll get a hold of him again. I've got his card somewhere. But one was like 260,000 and then this guy was like 50 or, so that's why we needed the plans and specs, obviously, apples to apples. But yeah, you want me to get them by next meeting? What do you after here?
If at all possible, I think that'd be great. I just feel like we need to move with this a little sooner than wait a year. I think sooner rather than later, let's get what we're up against.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll have that by next meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Greene County Schools Summer Program, Miller.
Yep. So as we all know, every summer there's this team who makes free lunch for the kids of Grand Junction. And currently they're paying a rental fee for the community center. And maybe we should consider dropping that charge for them. Right now, for the season, they are paying $2,050, which is kind of big for a program like that, if you ask me, but it's your call.
Yeah, it's our call. Does the school get reimbursed by the federal government? The fees?
They have to have something because it's a free lunch program for kids.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't they're not just taking it, in the side.
Yeah.
So there's gotta be some kind of reimbursement going on through whatever program might be out there. I don't know what that is.
And they also make the food here, if I understand right, that then is taken to Rippey, is this correct? So they're cooking, is that right? They cook all the food here and then take the Rippey share?
Well, that's when there's no summer school. But when there's summer school, the Rippey kids leave here. And then I take them, or whoever takes them by bus back to Rippey.
But otherwise, everything is made here,
Okay.
no matter where it's taken to. Okay.
I think they're using our facility. I think they're using our equipment. I think we ought to be reimbursed.
Well, and if they weren't having this here, there would be buses that would pick up our kids and take them to Jefferson and eat. And that would be a cost to bus them, which I would think with the price of gas, holy crap, that would be, so I just don't know. How, we know how many years they've had lunches here?
I don't.
Kelly, I'll ask you, do you know how many years?
Yes. They've been having lunches here for 5 years, but I'd also put in, they would not bus our kids, they would bring our kids cold lunches. They would bring them here, they'd bring them to Rippey, and they'd bring them to dinner. So I'm just putting that out to you, because that's what they would do.
Thank you, Billy, for that information.
And sometimes they do anyway.
Who actually is asking for this? Like, who from the school is asking for us to not do this?
Well, in the past, it was Tim Christensen.
Superintendent.
To lower the price. And that's what this is all about. Somebody's asking us to lower or get rid of, they're saying that the school lunch program should use this building for free. Okay, so are you telling me Tim Christensen came over and asked for?
No,
he's the one that asked to have the contract to do it.
Yeah.
And who's asking now to have the fees reduced?
I talked to him, and there's this lady who I can't pronounce the name of. No, there's another lady.
Lee?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, there are places, it's not only Grand Junction that they are cooking, there are other places, and some of them are free of charge for them. I can't say city names, but they were talking in plural. So I talked to those two, and they would appreciate if we could just either give them a lower price.
I would like something from Greene County Schools
Isn't that what this is?
Yeah, but
asking.
But
He signed it May 23rd of this year. Tim Christensen did, that's his signature.
But he's not asking for a reduction. This
He
agreement.
went with the original, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
back in the minutes, we've had so many clerks and stuff, back in the minutes, it seemed like, if my memory is correct, that we were gonna cut it in half somewhere.
then I would, Until we can
But
find
I
that
don't-
out or get more information from somebody of higher power, I would say table it and let's check into it.
Yes.
before-
Although on the other hand, guys, this is like an agreement for 2022, and now they want to
This is just
change
the,
the con.
no,
change
we
the
didn't
agreement.
sign this contract.
He did.
It was just, they were
This
just
is
using the
fine.
figure from last year. Why they signed it, but we didn't. They sent
No,
it
we didn't.
to us like this. So I
Well,
printed it out.
Accepted by from the city.
So I feel like maybe we should keep it as is this year, and let's think,
Talk it over next year.
if the school wants to come to us next year before the lunch program, then we can talk about it then.
You got a new superintendent coming in.
We have some new people coming in.
It could be totally different, we might never do it again. You know?
Right, exactly, exactly. So I make the motion to leave it the same, and we can leave the door open that maybe they can address it in a year with us.
I'll second.
Aye.
Fine.
Bidding fees, the community center, Hillman.
Yeah, we had Randy Monty come over and tour the facility and tell us what we needed to do to get it back to brand new as far as cleaning and those type of things. And one of the things that he recommended was that in the rental fee, we charge some money for the cleanup, even though we tell them we'll charge them in the deposit if they don't clean it up. Randy says, go ahead and charge them something to begin with. So what I'm suggesting is we raise the rates $20 per room in the rental. They still have to clean up, they still have to give us a deposit, and if they don't have it cleaned the way we want it cleaned, then we'll take money out of the deposit. But we've never raised the rates as far as I know.
And how many years has the community center been here, Jerry?
Six. So, and I think maybe just $20 an hour for each room. She charges $20. So that's what I would recommend.
So if someone's coming in here just renting the, because somebody really just rent the kitchen ever? But it doesn't matter. So if somebody's coming in here, I want the kitchen and the big room.
Yeah, that'd be $40.
But just a second, it's 50, so then you're gonna add 70, and the junction room is 50, and then you're gonna add 20.
Yeah, so 40 more.
Okay.
I don't think that's out of.
But you said per hour and they are renting, those fees apply
You
for
said
the
per hour, but
day.
I think you meant per rental.
Yeah, per
Yeah,
rental.
okay,
Right.
let's clarify.
And anybody that has already rented it, that is on the books as of this council meeting, that's what it
Grandfathered
is.
in.
It's for future
Yeah,
rents.
yeah,
Yes.
Today
gotcha.
moving forward.
Okay,
I agree with that, $20 increase
Yeah,
is not
I do too.
outrageous, all right.
You read the last paragraph?
He just pointed out.
I think you
Read
just,
the last line of that. Greene County Schools free of charge.
I don't like that on there.
It's there right now. And also the weekend price cut is there that we were talking about on a previous occasion.
Where did this sheet come from?
This is the cutout from the current contract, current agreement with the rentals.
Back in the minutes somewhere is where they did that. From a year
I think
ago.
I heard about that, but
So we are,
But this is a new year, right?
Does the school rent or have stuff up here other than lunches? I mean, what else do they ever have up here? Anything?
no, it's just the lunch
Well, they did
program.
During COVID, they had places, kids could come in, use Wi-Fi and
Oh,
whatnot
okay.
for their school.
Okay. But they don't ever have like meetings or
Yeah.
teachers
Very.
classes or anything?
well, they had something, I don't remember what they was once, but it's not like on a normal basis.
Gotcha,
Every so
okay,
often.
okay.
so if we agree to this, can we take this Greene County School District rental agreement, free off from there? I mean, we can agree to the rest of that without. Okay.
Yes.
Did somebody make a motion and was it seconded?
Mickey made the motion of
You did.
the raise of $20,
So now we're waiting for a second.
and
Yep, I second it.
Yeah, okay.
Laura seconded it.
Okay, thank you. I.
Trainer position, updating financial
No,
officer,
no, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hoskinson.
Okay, we had, 2 trainer positions that we, were paying for help. When Tammy first came on, we had Barb and we had Angie. Since that time, Tammy has learned a lot. She's also been able to reach out and get assistance from other city clerks, things like that. And so, at this time, she feels like she's capable of handling the financial aspect as well as the city clerk aspect. So I make a motion that we, with a big thank you to Angie and Barb as trainers, we relieve them of their trainer positions and we give it all back to our city clerk.
Discussion, does that, we aren't paying them only when they work, right? I mean, they aren't paid, they're on a wage for.
Right, right.
So wouldn't it be wise to keep somebody on board in case something happens or she goes on vacation or whatever? That could stay and run the place while she's gone or not? I'm just throwing that out there. As long as we aren't paying her anyway.
You know, that's a good idea, especially with her going to school, however, you have another job during the day, don't you, or not?
Yeah, but I came here at night.
You see, when we need coverage, which is during the day, when you're at work, Barb's at work, and so I'm not sure, I mean, unless, and here's the deal.
I just threw it out.
Right, no, I got you. It would be nice to have somebody that would be able to be up here like Cammy is when she's gone, but I don't know who we're gonna get, PRN, to be up to speed.
But I
on.
don't, why would you want to eliminate it when you aren't paying them anyway?
Well, I don't know, do we pay you to come and sit here at these council meetings? Right there.
Okay.
We don't need
That's
to.
once a month.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, even then, it's not a lot, but we're still paying you to come and sit at the council meeting. You know, so I would say.
Yeah, I just threw it out there. Whatever you want.
I make a motion to thank you for all of the help that you have been, and let's let Cammy do her job. Yes, no? Yes, no? I'm sorry, what?
She made a motion. and-
Oh, I made a motion.
I thought
I guess we
seconded.
did, and then Jerry asked us
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
I
discussion,
seconded
so
this.
it had passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who seconded it?
I did, okay.
Greene County Development Corporation, $425, Miller.
Yeah. You got this invoice. It's a yearly membership again. It's kind of being a good city within the county, and if we pay this membership fee, then it's easier for us. We will get support from the county.
What?
Support from the county.
For?
For whatever we need, like new businesses, whatever just
They're a
occurs.
resource.
Yeah. We always had this. It's your decision if we want to continue with this. Barb says it's kind of useful.
Do you know how many years we've been a member of this?
Oh, I don't from the top of my head, but
Okay, is it, I mean, I know nothing about this. Tell me about it.
It's basically like Mike Palmer's in charge of it, I believe.
Ken
Ken
Paxton.
Ken Paxton, sorry,
Yeah.
that's it, yep. I don't know, they use them a lot in, well, do you know anything?
They've used them quite a bit in Payne, Scranton, Jefferson.
For what?
Like industry and business.
Elaborate here.
They've helped bring in some of these housing projects. I think they're building a couple houses in Scranton also. They've helped with getting Region 12 on board to find funding to build new houses on vacant lots.
Well, we're not getting our money's worth then, because I don't think we've done
Maybe
anything, have
somebody's
we?
not asking their-
I was gonna say, did we not, I didn't know we had them, maybe we need to reach out to them on stuff.
He's not.
The people come in there and rejuvenate houses for people. Is that the same deal?
No, that's
That's
Habitat.
Like
they help get the animal facility, the
dog,
dog pound, I call it,
yeah.
the new one going up out there. Help get like businesses going in different towns.
Will they help us clean up the grocery store?
Send her to ask.
We could use that. If we did, would they?
Send her to ask. A decimal plan, stuff like that.
I'll make a motion to
You don't like this.
pay the membership dues.
I second.
I,
Can I say something about that? No. Well, the family member is getting their asbestos license and they're gonna come in and clean it up.
I say we aye to that, let's pay it be done.
Okay.
Got it?
Are we ready to move along? from
yes.
Perfect.
Voting on vacating the section of 14th Street between Gerald Hernick and Jeremy Richards' property. Jeremy, if people don't know, he's purchased some land. You want to tell about it? He's purchased some land up here.
I guess the road's abandoned and somebody said. I could possibly just-
Anyway, it's an 80-foot street and he's entitled to half. I mean, it's like goes through a pasture. It starts at Hager Street, ends at the railroad track. It's just a block long, you might say, is all it is. No utilities on it.
So what do we have to do? Do you have to buy it? Do we just give it to you? Do you each
You-
get half and half?
you-
And you get half and he gets half?
Yeah,
and done deal?
that's the way we usually do it, but whoever gets it, they have to pay all the paperwork, which can get involved, pay the, whatever, I can't remember what it costs. But
And tell
Couple
me
$100
again
bucks.
where this is.
It's kind of by the recycle bin.
Okay,
Oh.
across the railroad track.
He said Hager Street.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought, I'm thinking.
Like Railroad Street, yeah.
Okay, up there where Byron's
Yeah,
shop
railroad-
was, it's right
railroad
there
street. What did I
between
say,
that and
Hager?
the field.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
All right.
sorry.
Hanger.
That sounds a lot
16, the vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, how do you move forward with that? You two duke it out then? I mean, once we say it's your two?
Well, you split it down. When that happens, it's like an alley or anything. If you have any neighbors or something that disagree with it, you ask them and, that contributes to it. Well, there isn't any neighbors. Then Tammy puts it, however she does it, and then puts it to the courthouse and puts half in his name and half in mine.
I will do it. Figure out how to do it.
That way you get the taxes off.
Okay, I make a motion that these guys can share that alley and do what they need to do with it.
I'll second.
Hi.
You understand?
This one?
Do you understand where it's at, Laura?
Yeah, I do know.
Go down.
I do. I don't want that alley, so you guys are good.
I didn't know.
And-
Sure, I'll take it.
Eventually, Jeremy and Steve Kennedy will share, it's a 20-foot alley, they'll share that, they're both interested, which is east of Kennedy's and west of Jeremy's. And while I'm on the subject with Kennedy, we voted, and maybe you guys weren't on, Laura Kennedy was on, she abstained from voting. Voted that east and west alley, south of Steve Kennedy's, which is all grass pasture, that he take that over for paid the charges for doing it. He asked me about the other day, he says, I've never received a bill, I've never received nothing. Well, Cammie and I finally figured out that Captain followed through or something. So,
Was this like behind?
so while we're doing this, we'll probably do that.
Fire is all
Oh, okay, we're still talking there. Okay.
Where the.
But we're past between Jeremy
Now and all the way to
and 14th.
Right.
16th Street.
Okay.
Tree removing bid, Hoskinson.
Did we vote? Did we have a vote?
Yeah, you voted,
We
didn't you?
voted on that, but I don't think, I don't know what was,
Okay,
I guess that's another deal.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, tree bidding.
Okay, first of all, just let me say that this is just the beginning of the removal of ash trees. There's gonna be even more by fall. Brett and I went around a week ago, we marked the trees that a blind man could tell are dead with blue X. Brett thinks he can do. If there's a white X on it, then we've gotta hire somebody, to top those down to where we think that Brett can haul them. At that point, the light plant guys have been great about helping on those trees or any of the trees that we've done in the past, and they'll be helping again on these, they have indicated. And so with that, we have Brett doing approximately 31. And then the bid that I have from Muir Tree Service, it was approximately 51 trees that he had. And since that time, the light plant has gone around and there's about 3 trees that are close enough to high voltage lines that they just think that they need to call in Asplin Tree Service to take care of those. And if I understand correctly, then the light plant will pay for them to top those down far enough that even if they fell, they were under the electric lines, and then we take those down from there. But a lot of these, I think Brett maybe can take down. At this time, the bid that we have from Muir Tree Service, it was $18,500, and then we've got, like I said, 3 trees that were close to high voltage. So we've got roughly maybe 1,000, maybe a little bit more off from that. The other bid that we have, Mickey had talked to a tree service out of Boone earlier this year, and they charge $150 an hour. I would recommend that we go with Muir Tree Service. He's gonna top them down, he will work with us and start in, I guess. Any questions?
I would agree, he helped us out by a pretty good drainage ratio, so I would prefer to stick with him.
There's a lot of them by fall. We're gonna have more than that. It's my understanding on the trees that ash trees, once they start to die, after a year especially, they will start dropping branches about this big, and then it becomes a real hazard. So I've had people say, why don't you do this in the process of 3 years or something? We don't have that kind of time. The dead ones need to come down, they're a liability issue, and this is just the start, so.
Can the public ask a question or not?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I will anyway.
Does
this include our trees? Because we got ash trees out there.
The trees were marked at this point.
I'm just curious.
Eventually, there will be more trees that will be on this list. This is what we have at this time. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have any at this point out that direction. You know, there's more trees even now that need to be done. These are the ones that we started with. So I would make a motion that we go with newer tree service. Let's start cutting them. We can add more, make a second list to approve, but we've got to start someplace with it.
I'll second.
Okay.
New chainsaw for Brett. You do bring the old one up, Brett?
I'm presenting it because we're asking the street superintendent to cut a lot of trees. He needs to have the equipment to do the job that we're asking him to do. At this time, I gave everybody a list of the different saws that we have looked at. I talked to Tyler Muir, what he uses. I talked to the city of Jefferson, Dave Teebles over there, what he uses for his guys. And also what Hoskinson Tree Service has used. And we have Echo brand, Husqvarna brand from Nice Equipment, and then Steel brand from Napa. They're all good saws. The problem with Steel brand, which is what I'm used to running mostly, is right now there is a problem, or I've been told there's a problem with getting product for that. So if you have a part or something, you may have a problem getting the parts that you need to fix it. My suggestion would be to go with a saw that he can use for limbing trees, which would be the Echo brand with a 12-inch bar that's 360. And that is actually, those are carried by Olson Outdoor Power Equipment out of Carroll. They have a few different bar lengths, but I talked to Brett and he felt like the 12-inch was something that would work good for him in the air. And then going with the Husqvarna from Nice, it's a heavy duty saw. He currently has a Husqvarna brand. It's a 460, it's a rancher type saw, which is a good one, but when you're gonna be taking down the trunks of trees, you need something with more power, something that's gonna last longer. And the Husqvarna brand that we're looking at is more of a logger type. It's a little bit more expensive, but they do fix them out here at Nice's. They can get parts, it's not a problem. That one is $739.99. The other thing that I would request is, and I talked to Dave Teebles in Jefferson about what they use for protective gear. They wear the helmets with the face shield and the good ear muffs, and they are $93.32 a piece. I would ask that we get two, one for Brett when he's cutting, and then if we have somebody from the light plant that is also running a chainsaw, that they have that available for their use also. The total for the two requested chainsaws comes to $1,286.63. That would be my proposal.
And that's with the helmet.
Yes, yeah, with the two helmets, I'm sorry, yes. Brett has a couple of chainsaws. One is a middle-sized saw that's good for cutting up when it's on the ground. And the other one is a little bit bigger, the rancher style, and it's also good for being on the ground, but they're both too big to use in the air comfortably, and they're not quite big enough to cut the trunks of some of these trees down. The other thing that I will say is some of these trees, we may end up having to call back Muir to cut them down if we decide we're not comfortable with it.
And I guess we do need to remember, we got some money from Greene County that needed to go for something. You know, they didn't want it just to go in our general fund and pay for, I don't know, wages and that sort of thing. And this, I would say, is something that would be, they would think it's great to spend that money on. It's not like it's just being fiddled away here, but this is something that
Are these two saws you're comfortable with? I felt like I talked to you about them earlier, and with, that would give him 4 chainsaws, but if you've ever cut trees and you get one stuck, you need another one to cut that one out, and then if you get that one stuck, then you need a third one to cut the other 2 out. It happens. So,
All right, I move we purchase the 2 chainsaws and safety equipment.
A second. Aye.
thank you.
How soon can you get them?
I will also say I, in case I didn't. They needs equipment, I believe Larry Joy from up there told me that he could get them in about 3 or 4 days. And the Echo brand, they actually have those in stock over there. So, and that way, getting the one from Nice too, it keeps it right here in county, and Nice's are awful good to us.
Board of Adjustment, we need a,
5th member.
appointment. It's gonna be Gerald Thompson. I don't know if anybody knows him or not.
Who? Darlene?
Geraldine Thompson. This boy lives down there, Gustin Thompson.
Hey, what about on the planning and zoning? Did you ever replace Dave Higgins? Jerry?
Mm-mm.
Since he's in a nursing home, don't you think that he ought to be replaced?
No, it'll have to be next meeting.
We have to vote or anything on that?
Yeah, you gotta approve him. You gotta approve my appointment, I think.
Make a motion to approve Gerald Thompson to the Board of Adjustment.
I,
Or do I have to stay until the morning? I don't have to stay until morning.
Oh, because you're already on the board.
No, you don't.
Okay, approval of fuel reimbursement and punctured tire costs for the compliance officer, Rensselaer.
I feel we should reimburse him for his fuel because he's using his own vehicle. And when he was doing the cleanup in the west part of town, he ruined a tire on his vehicle. And you have the bill there for that, and I feel we need to.
okay, here's my question. Fuel replacement, how are we gonna handle that? Is he gonna turn in tickets or?
Or do you want him to do just 1 tank a week? One,
Well, how was he hired? Was he hired that way?
Nothing was said.
nothing said about fuel.
Jerry, how was Rick hired?
And
Did he get fuel?
But he got $20 an hour too. I think,
we got a fuel barrel out there.
oh, I don't think we.
You can't use that.
Mickey, I created this tracking sheet, and he will give me his receipts and
Okay.
his notes,
Okay,
and it tracks
okay.
this Excel.
This
That I
tire
showed you.
deal,
Wait, I wanna finish up.
Yeah, let's finish with the gas mileage. What were you saying, Katie?
I created this Excel sheet,
Okay,
which is kind of calculating automatically. I just need some basic information. So he gives me that basic information. It works in Excel.
so every day when he gets to town, he writes the tag,
Yes,
and then when
he
before
will
he
take
leaves, he
notes.
writes the mileage, and then we base it on the federal government
Yeah.
fee of.
If you take a look at this sheet,
Cents a mile.
yeah,
And pay.
until June 30, because it's gonna be a new one for the new fiscal year. I'm gonna update this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much accurate.
Anybody that's has this
Sound okay to you, Mark? Is that what you're pushing for?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do the, let's make a motion to approve the mileage, just like we explained.
Yeah.
He checks it before, checks it after, we pay that.
with details of the streets and wherever it goes.
Yeah.
But,
So you made a motion, I'll second that motion to pay the mileage accordingly, and now, once that passes, then we'll discuss the tire thing. Or doesn't pass, however.
Aye. Okay,
Punctured tires.
We want to,
Well,
he's using his own vehicle. And he ruined a tire.
Where was he driving at? I mean, was he like, was he, and I'm not
I
trying to.
don't know
be
where he
smart.
was at the time,
I
Brett.
do, I know exactly where he's at, because I stopped. I said, what's wrong? He says, I got a flat tire. I says, he says, McAtee's coming over from. I says, I'll change it for you. No. $147 to change his tire and fix this.
That's a brand new tire, that's not fixing the tire.
Right. To change it, whatever.
Present it to you.
Was he off the road? Was he, tell me where he was, like, was he in the grass?
Right down
driving
there in
along?
front of Brendan's. Right there.
On the street,
On
and
the
he
street.
ran over something
Well,
driving on the street?
he was, well, that's possible, because
I know, because they were.
but
moving
he's
stuff, I'm just
actually
trying
to the north
understand.
side of the street. I mean, he was on the street.
Okay, and he hit something, and that's what happened? And it like ripped the tire, like the sidewall out of the tire or something
There was a chunk out of the bottom, I believe. I didn't see it.
of the tire?
More than could have been patched. It was big enough to be patched.
It wasn't just a puncture wound?
No.
how do we eliminate something like this happening, you guys?
Well,
I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
We're making him use his own vehicle, so you gotta decide, you're gonna,
Well, I don't want, here's my thing. Don't get off the road in the future. Stay on the street.
He was right on the edge though,
Yeah,
wasn't
he
he? I
was-
mean, in fairness to
he
him.
was on the street. It was not totally on the street, because I went beside him. Pulled up beside
Okay,
him.
Brett, what did you see?
Looking at the, map down the light plant, that part of the road is vacated, so we don't maintain it at all, and, I mean, that's bad.
Okay,
And so, what he was trying to do is he was trying to get over, and not hit those potholes, or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
So that's why he was further over, but he wasn't, but if he was in the grass, it wasn't 5-6 inches.
okay.
But $75 to come over and put a spare on it. You know. That seems excessive to me.
Well, we're paying $150 for a tow truck that is in Grand Junction. That seems excessive to me too. I say we go ahead and pay it this time, but
I would say if we start having to,
But what I'm saying is, like you guys say, it wasn't written down when you hired him.
right, and so we're voting on whether we're approving this or
Okay.
not now.
Okay.
And just like we voted,
Uh-huh,
Jerry, on whether to do that or not, and we voted no, but you didn't have council approval on that
that's
before.
got nothing to do with the tire, let's go on with, yes or no on the tire, let's go,
Okay.
move on.
I move that we pay with the explanation that
If we start having a lot of these, then we need to revisit how we're going to handle him using his own vehicle. But I second the motion to.
Aye.
And I belong to AAA, so you can get somebody over here for free who can use my card. There you go.
You just put that out for everybody, you know that, right? AAA, thanks you.
Approval of William and Madeline Mounts, application for tax abatement.
guys have any, you want to say anything?
We didn't know if we were allowed to talk.
Well, you're on the agenda.
Thank you.
That's what we just applied for, it's a city ordinance, that Junction does that. Based in 2017, it's been done before and continues to be done, so. That's why we turned it in.
Any questions?
I just want to highlight the fact that I received 4 requests from you and we agreed only on 3. Okay, so, okay, just to make it clear.
Thank you. Thank you, Cam.
All these are, is the one for the room addition, is that completed?
No.
Okay. It has to be done by October 11th of this year, if I'm reading this right. Do we approve these prior to having the rooms, the addition finished, or do we do that afterward? What if we approve this and then it's not done in time?
It says estimated or actual date of completion. And the process is that I will file these to the assessor and they will go and audit the site and they will decide if it's finished or not. Obviously, if it's not finished, by the time they will, I mean, that's my understanding from the assessor.
And to follow, we've already been assessed the taxes on those additions, even though they were done. We've already got letters saying that they've already based their assessment on our next taxes because we turned in permits.
That makes sense.
Make a motion, we approve them.
That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not doubting it doesn't make sense.
I'll
to me.
second it.
Aye.
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 First, I had to figure out who William and Madeline Mount was. Oh, William and Madeline.
I've been good for that. I don't know how many years I didn't know her name was Madeline.
I don't know how to do this. Rezoning of property at 406 Railroad Street East. Jeremy Richards from residential, he's putting up a commercial building, changing it to commercial. So I don't know what's involved in changing that.
So you refer it, the council would refer it to the planning and zoning commission for their recommendation. And then make the recommendation to the council.
So then we have to wait till the next council meeting to approve it?
Right, so the planning and zoning.
Okay.
I'll move it over to the
Planning and zoning committee.
I'll second that.
Aye. Don't forget.
And by that time,
No, we won't.
you should have that 14th Street closed and that would be concluded.
Or if it's easier, leave it residential, I'll do that. But you gotta get more money to go commercial, so.
Mayor report.
Not yet.
We've got.
We had the amendments.
amendments.
These 2 documents on the top.
Oh,
Yep.
and it's here.
Yeah, the pool assistant.
Yeah, we will go
Hiring.
with this first.
Okay, resolution number 2022-0613-02. Resolution approving 2022 assistant pool manager wages.
We did not realize until a visit with Andy Krieger last week about pool issues that we didn't know that we had a assistant pool manager. So we didn't hire one before that. So we would like to go ahead and put it in the paper, get it advertised, and then hire an assistant pool manager for $14.50 an hour. We hope that by an assistant pool manager of our choosing, that a lot of the issues from past years will be alleviated by that. We have not totally, blown off the issues. We just have to wait till we can work to get them solved. So we feel that an assistant pool manager will help keep things running smoothly. So I make a motion, or I guess, make a motion that we, go ahead and pass to hire one and get her hired.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the Sanitary Fire Supply. Junction.
Yeah, it was brought to my attention that we got a bill for the, from the Sanitary Fire Supply, for $704. We don't know what it is, and I'm not sure how this whole thing works with the fire department and the city and us paying for whatever. But it's my understanding, based on what other towns do, that when the fire department is, a lot of the stuff is paid for by the city, that then the city council has some say over stuff, how it's paid for, what's bought, that kind of thing, is what I'm understanding. First, can you tell us what this $704 bill is for?
It's a set of wildland gear.
Set of what?
Wildland, it's just lighter, more for people that aren't gonna do interior attack. It was ordered prior to knowing that we were getting a grant. We had a member come on, didn't have any gear that would fit her. They had no interest in going interior, so we went with a cheaper, not that also cheaper, but yeah, cheaper gear that's not meant for interior attack.
And the grant that you guys got for gear does not cover this?
Because it was done prior, so it wasn't put in for, what we received wasn't put in to cover that.
And so what you received has already been spent on all the other?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
We're still short,
July.
though. We're still short 8,000.
Which I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We,
Um,
get you that.
And so this was actually applied for or ordered, if you will, in like January, December, when was this ordered?
I really don't remember when it was ordered.
Okay, I can't know that invoice.
Yeah, that's what she's looking.
No, this is the statement.
Oh, I must have one of mine here.
You got the invoice.
Don't have it with me.
I guess, from what I'm understanding from Tammy, we may have to relook at how we do some of this stuff with the fire department when they order stuff that then the city is responsible for paying for, is my understanding on this. So I make a motion to go ahead and approve this, but we need to do some checking on stuff that, your grant stuff is your grant stuff to go with. Other stuff that you're having to order that is bigger dollar stuff that the city is then gonna have to pay for. We need to visit about that stuff. Somebody needs to visit about that stuff before we order it. I don't know how it worked in the past, but, so I make a motion to go ahead and pay this and be done with it.
A second.
I,
Same.
Okay. The mayor, I wrote a little something here about the street, gravel street going out to readers. Railroad Street's a highly traveled street. It was originally a covered road, but it was low and broke up. Residents were told years ago that the city could not do anything until a solid base was laid down and built up to grade. It is now done. It is a hard gravel road. I realize that the people would like to have it hard surface, but due to financial problems, it's probably not going to happen this year. Due to heavy traffic, there's lots of dust, there's been oil in the past, but council decided not to spend the money for this highly traveled street. again, I'd like to have you reconsider this vote. Surely they can afford some oil for that high traveled street. That's just a saying I got to reconsider that vote where they didn't pass it. Another thing I have a problem with is, sometimes we had a little problem down to Grundon's. They pulled some stuff off the wrong property. Even though one of the Gundon boys said they could do it, but he doesn't have the say so because it's not his property. We had I don't know how's that judge coming along with Betty's place?
Just 60 days from when it's filed.
But anyway, they got on the south side in this field, which belongs to a different Gerald Greene estate. And I told Mark to check on it. Said you would. I asked you again, you said you would.
I can't find nothing on it. I don't know where you look.
I talked to the code enforcement officer and I says, we can't go on that property. We haven't got the authority to. They did. I went and talked to Hoffman and I says, don't haul any more stuff till we get this straightened out. Well, they did anyway. I got a call from Bill Thorpe. He wants that tractor back. Belonged to the Brendan that works for Bill Thorpe. They got stuck down in there. And I don't know, Mark Stolene was upset. I haven't talked to him since. I don't know how that resolved.
It's resolved.
Is it?
It is resolved. And yes, Mark did not want people traipsing through his oat field. But I'm gonna say right now, he did not blow a gasket, he did not yell, he did not curse or carry on, so everybody
Good.
take that out of your mind.
I didn't know, but.
And so I'm just telling you now that, yes.
Because when he talked to me, he was excited, but I don't know what happened.
He was not happy that,
Well, naturally.
he cash rents it, and it's not his fault that run into pile of junk there. I just want everybody to know that Mark was not upset, didn't yell, didn't blow a gasket, didn't even curse, which is really different for him. So he just would appreciate it not to happen again, as anybody that cash rented any land would be.
But the point is getting across that I told both those guys not to go on that property.
With Mark too, maybe instead of calling him and saying you better get out there because they have tore it up and you're gonna be mad and all this, maybe if we would have approached it as, hey, Mark, our guys got on the property and, that would have been better than maybe calling them and, getting him all shook up like you did.
You're talking a lot about this towing and this sort of thing. And I feel, and I know things were not done maybe 100% up to code. Now, I've talked to 2 of the people that were involved with it. I don't feel like these people went on to were trying to do something wrong. They were trying to clean up this town.
Sure they were, and they're doing a good job of it.
They know what they did wrong. And I think changes are gonna be made. I think that right now, we're kind of beating a dead horse. They absolutely know what they did wrong, and they're not gonna make they're not gonna do that again. I mean, Mark, Brett, and Rod, who are the 3 people that were doing this work, not any one of you went to do this thinking, I'm gonna see what I can get away with, gonna screw it up, I'm not supposed to be doing it illegal. I think we need to just move forward with this, that it is we learned our lesson and we're
The
gonna,
point is, they need to check. follow
They
through.
thought they did.
Yes.
They thought they had all their ducks in a row or they wouldn't have done it, none of them.
Well, I told them twice.
Mark, go ahead.
Rod told me that the way he interpreted the code book, and if he needs to talk to Jonathan in the future, he considered all that stuff down there a nuisance. Which I say it's a nuisance, and then somebody said, well, I think Jack said you have to send a letter for a 10-day notice before you tow things.
That's true, but you gotta have the.
They've had over a 10-year notice, personally, my fault, but all right, we screwed up.
But anyway,
We'll fix it in the back,
moving
we'll
on,
fix it in the
moving
future.
on.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, the problem, we're gonna move forward with it.
The main thing is, Mark, I was afraid, that Mark, he's not gonna.
Say which Mark you're talking about, I'm here too. You're
Mark-
talking Mark Stoling, right?
No.
Okay.
You were afraid, what about Mark Stoling?
Well, I'm glad he's not upset about it and everything else.
He's not, but in the future, I guess I would have to recommend that if something like that happens, instead of calling somebody and saying, well, you better get out there, those guys just made a mess, maybe we can call and say, hey, Mark, these are our guys. These are our guys, our city, that's working to try to clean it up instead of fighting against them,
Well-
trying to get somebody mad and sicking them on them.
See,
Maybe we need to work
the
together and
problem
protect our
is-
men.
Paula, I was talking to Dean when Mark.
No, that's not the way it was,
You
Jerry.
probably should
You
not-
called him.
You
I
maybe
called
shouldn't
who?
have talked
You
to
called
him.
Mark and told
Mark?
him, yes,
Uh-uh.
you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I called him to say, how was it? How is it down there?
Jerry, it doesn't
But I
matter.
didn't know he farmed the place.
It doesn't matter, the fact of the matter is that you were talking to Dean in a public spot about things that maybe the public didn't need to hear, correct? I mean, you don't know who walks into the light plant to pay their bill or whatever, they could heard all kinds of stuff, you bashing on essentially your coworkers, your employees.
I was sitting there during the phone call when Dean was yelling.
I'm sorry. We're not taking shout outs from the audience at this time. Thank you.
You don't have to be rude about it.
Well, anyway, I didn't know till I talked to Mark in the light plant that he even farmed the place. Council. Oh, wait a minute. What about FEMA?
I haven't gotten an update. I reached out, I haven't heard anything back, I'll try again tomorrow.
I would like to say, as far as the council goes, I think that this town looks better now than what it has for a long time. I think that everybody's doing a great job of cleaning up. I think that you guys who have been towing and the ordinance guy has done an amazing job. He hasn't been on for very long, but he is getting stuff done. And with the help of Brett and Mark on this, things are looking 100% better. So I just want to pat you guys on the back. Doing great, keep it up, we're behind you on this.
Just make sure your paperwork is right.
Jack is gonna assist us in helping us get the right stuff from now on.
Great, thank you.
I want to say, I appreciate each and every person's help with the cleanup day. Everybody that helped, that was great. The junk that we still process out of this town is amazing. And heard some really good suggestions on how to improve, how to do things better. And I think that everybody that did help, pat yourself on the back with that. I want to give a little pool update. The pool will open soon. And I know people keep hearing soon. I know they keep hearing soon. We're waiting on a product that they need. And as soon as it's here, it'll get put in. We're gonna fill the pool and we will have it open ASAP. If everybody can do a little prayer and.
No rain dances?
No rain dances. It could be open by Thursday, Friday, if, like I said, and I don't control the weather. That's where we're at with, the pool
Okay,
opening.
can I have a comment?
Sure.
I would like us to try to figure out an adult exercise program. And maybe having the assistant pool manager is something she could be in charge of. I don't know if we've got any adults that would be interested in an exercise program, but
I'll tell you, years ago, there's been adult aerobics and adult water Zumba. It's just a matter of getting somebody that knows running it. And I don't know if, I mean, as far as an assistant manager would not probably know the proper movement. And, but, I mean, put the word out. If you find somebody that would like to come and run the program, and the assistant manager can be there as a pool representative, absolutely.
I would like to say on the pool too, one of the problems is on the sidewalls in the bottom of the pool, it's a felt product that goes underneath. So in the rain, they can't hang it, they can't leave it there and let it get wet. Once it's up, then they have to be able to put the blue liner over the top of that. They can't put the liner on wet felt. That's been the problem. We've had a lot of rain days. And so, you know, I walk past there just about every day to try to get an update on this. And I would say, walk past there. Even if they're not there, you can go up, walk around the pool, see how they're coming on it. It's getting close. It's been no fault of ours. A lot of it's been the weather. The other thing that I will say is that people didn't realize, we had places when they first got here that we had to patch places on the gutter that they could not cover before they were patched. And so Brad worked down there one whole day. I helped him. He's had to do that a couple of times just to, you can literally grab a hold of places on that gutter and pull out hunks of concrete. So this isn't something that we could have just filled the pool and done it in the fall. I don't know that we could have even hoped to do that this year. So this had to be done. We're working, we've done everything that we can. Cross your fingers. It's, okay.
Brett's got a 5:30 PM update on the pool once it comes to his.
Oh, okay, he's up next whenever the mayor does that. We're ready for street superintendent, if you want to call him. Street superintendent, we're ready for him.
Okay,
to speak.
street superintendent.
So Mark and I went down and met with Courtney about 5:30 tonight. They're working nights right now because the heat and inside that pool is ridiculously hot, especially when it's 100 degrees outside. They're gonna do as much as they can at night. The flanges still have not come in. So not to rain on everybody's parade, but we're looking more like probably not being done until Saturday.
Not done till Saturday?
He's waiting on parts.
And if
They're
we
supposed to
get,
be here today. Did they even come to UPS today?
Do I need to call more?
more won't answer.
Actually, UPS came today, but I think it was my thing. We will
So
check.
that's kind of where we're at. They're working as much as they can. There is another, they did tell me there is another light out down there. I'm gonna talk to Dean tomorrow, see if he can look at that.
Did they say why the parts didn't come in?
So, I mean, they're, like everything, a PVC, everything's a shortage. PVC shortage. Hopefully tomorrow, I hope. They have a solid 2 to 3 10-hour days to get that thing finished up. And it's no fault of theirs. I mean, the weather has not been cooperative. And with 100 degrees outside.
If we had the product that they're waiting for, how soon could they have it done?
Oh, we're still looking at 3 days, at least. And with, the lighting's not great down there, and especially in the deep end. That's what Courtney was saying today was.
Do we need to get some floodlights or something from somebody and hook those babies up so they can?
Honestly, it might not be a terrible idea, just to help them keep going.
What does, the guys at the light plant have? They have to have some kind of ginormous lights they've used.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I can take a fire truck down there, light that place up. Neighbors aren't gonna like it.
I won't care, go for it.
Yeah.
But, so that's where we're at with that. Like I said, that was at 5:30 tonight. Mark and I went down there. I wanted to have a fresh update for tonight.
And the one, who was that guy we talked to?
Courtney.
He's got a funeral.
Yeah, he might be, his brother passed, so he might ditch out for about 48 hours.
Well, that's the real reason probably, we're not.
Gotta go to Indianapolis.
Indiana.
Indiana.
But, that's pending, but, that's where we're at. So hopefully Saturday, I can start putting water in it, I hope. I would like next meeting, to take a good look at the road budget for the new fiscal year and try to figure out what we're gonna do. I have some ideas, but, kind of see where we're at. We got some spots that need some desperate attention.
Did we ever get bids to replace the concrete up by Thorpe's?
So I got one,
Okay,
17,000.
wow. Okay.
That corner,
There's a couple of.
now,
places.
it'd be, so right there in front of, Jeff's rental, between the bar and the shop,
Yes.
that spot. And then that other big hole,
Mhm.
and then pretty much that whole turn there, going on a personal, needs to be completely ripped out, because if we don't, the slope of the road's not gonna be right, water's gonna pool, it's gonna ruin concrete.
And how much did you say that bid was?
17,628. I've got it out to two contractors. That was through Denmark Concrete.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on Taylor to get back to me.
Okay, if you can.
But I'm gonna imagine his is probably gonna be relatively similar.
Yeah.
And then just to remind the council, June 23rd to the 26th, I will be gone. I'll be leaving the night of the 22nd, and I won't be back till Sunday the 26th.
Okay. Is there anything that we need to do while you're gone? I can't do it, but I'd like to know if I should.
I'll try to get all the mowing, I'll do my best to have all the mowing done, that way it's not crazy.
I'm great with the push mower, but I can't get on a rider, I can't do stuff.
So just a reminder that I'll be.
Okay, thank you for that.
Library.
She had knee replacement, so she's home recuperating.
Clerk,
Not this time, my report is attached to the packet.
fire department.
Just a couple quick things. So with what we talked about tonight, I would like to sit down, myself, the assistant chief, with the council and figure this out. I know the new council's doing things a lot different. I understand that. It's frustrating at times. But I would like to sit down and find out how we can make this work, how to make it work to where everybody's happy. I know everybody's got to give and take here and there. So, it's, my thing is, my biggest thing is at the end of the day, if somebody's not outfitted correctly or the apparatuses aren't working in proper order, that falls back on me. If we can find the time to do that and sit down, figure things out to make everybody happy, that would be great.
I would be interested in knowing the gear that we have that is, like go through it one by one so that we know there's 20 people on the fire department, and out of those 20, you have X amount of gear that are good for another 2 years. You've got this that are good for another 5 years. You've got this that many that need one, and that's how I would like to do this so that I understand it better, see what we're looking at, to get new stuff. You guys got a grant for some, what's that gonna bring us up to? How many more do we need? And then Mickey is really interested in helping find grant money.
And I just found some of the information, somehow you must have given me, because you said you need about $8,000, and that's what the total is, so I'll go through my grant writing sources, because there's one that does nothing but fire, and we'll try to get the $8,000 through them.
And, I'll help you write whatever we can do, but yeah, we'll discuss maybe when we can get together. I don't know if any of us you need together. If we all have to be together, then.
I figured,
then we
you
have
know, two, I know you can't have really more than three other than one, so if we could get
a couple of.
one or two,
Okay,
sit down and be.
okay. Good.
One more thing. I would like to salvage what we can of the old camera system down to the city dump. There's a new one up there. To see if it can be utilized either down there or the recycle bin. There's no, you can't access it. You have to go physically access it. You know, it's old, regular computer screen and everything. It's not hooked up to.
There's no internet
No,
involved in it.
no.
And so you don't need the internet at all to work it.
Yeah, you know, and I was just sitting there, the cameras are getting broke or going to pieces, and if we can salvage it to use it for something else, if something comes up, we can go down and type in and back up and see what happened. Otherwise, whatever. I mean, that's up to you guys.
Okay, so just a second, there's a camera down there.
There's two or three of them
Okay, and they're hooked to a computer.
in that little shed.
Okay, so you're saying we should maybe take it away from the dump and put it somewhere else?
Yeah, because the dump already has one.
Okay, oh, the dump has two like separate camera systems.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the one that has the computer, you have to have a place to put this computer,
Mhm.
like, so if you're saying we're gonna, and you're just saying,
Yeah.
if we were to put that at, say, the, recycle bin,
Mhm.
we would have to build a spot to put this computer there, so then we can look, somebody can check it. Is that, how that, I mean, that's.
Yes, correct. Niece at one time said we could put it in that shed if we wanted to. That's been quite a while ago.
Could we move that shed that's down there, that it's sitting in?
No,
We can't?
well, I don't know if you could or not. It's,
I don't know either.
there's cables and stuff going in there from that electrical. There's a transformer there. I don't know if it'll affect it or not.
I'm not sure either. I just,
How big of a shed do you need?
Oh, you just need a little box.
about the size of
Keep
the
it out
desk,
of
is
the
I
weather.
need to put a computer
And
monitor and
have,
a tower on
be
it.
able to plug it in to something, electricity.
If we bring it up and put it at the recycle place, and the purpose would be if somebody dumps a couch there, then we know who it is. Are we gonna prosecute them? I mean,
I don't know. I'm just asking, the cameras are broke, one of them has fallen, there's another one that, you know.
Can we table this so that we can think about this?
yes.
Do I want to talk about it?
Roger, give everybody a copy of what he's done so
Yes.
far.
Yeah.
You know.
Got a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I'll make it down and look at it anyway.
Not exciting.